Mike Pompeo pulling no punches on North Korea during his swearing-in today as the 70th Secretary of State. The rogue regime reportedly agreeing to release these 3 Americans who have been held captive in a North Korean labor camp. Kim Jong-un, Kim Sang-duk, and who's also known as Tony Kim, and the 3rd gentleman who is known as Kim Hak-song. What is behind North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's sudden change in tune, and is this genuine? Here now, General Jack Keane, Fox News senior strategic analyst, chairman of the Institute for the Study of War. General, good to see you.
Good to see you.
This is something the president wanted as a precursor to this, to release these men.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Pompeo mentioned it when he met with Kim Jong-un, and just recently, our National Security Advisor, Ambassador Bolton, mentioned it publicly as a sign of good faith that Kim Jong-un is serious about these talks and about denuclearizing. So let's release these hostages before the talks. And he's doing it.
What do you make of his concessions? What's different now for Kim Jong-un? Is it that the world is different? Are there different pressures on him within North Korea than existed in the prior generations?
Yeah, I think, well, 2 things have happened. One is certainly his acceleration of his nuclear program and weaponizing them on ICBMs, and the speed at which he did that drew the world's attention. And, of course, we transitioned from strategic patience under the Obama administration, which was actually a concession to him, to the Trump administration. They saw the imminent danger of all of that and said this is unacceptable to the security of the American people, and just moved right on it, maximum pressure economically, and also putting a military option on the table. And I think the president, the fact that he would never let up on discussing the military option, something that his predecessor avoided doing painstakingly, kept this pressure on him. And I mean, my sources told me they shut down the revenue about 80% before we started blocking the North Korean ports with our Navy ships. So there is some impact, but they've let their people suffer in the past and just sort of got it up and went on anyway and still manipulated us.
It feels like for some reason that's not working for him anymore, that maybe there is some internal pressure that hasn't existed before. Obviously, there's so much that we don't know about. I find it really interesting that you have the Chinese and the South Koreans, the Japanese, all scrambling to have meetings. They all want to be part of what they see happening.
Yeah, and I think what's so different for me is the just sense of urgency that Kim Jong-un is doing. He's done all of this in 90 days. Yeah. From the Olympics on, and he's made major concessions. And some people, who are always anti-North Korea are flippant about it. But the speed at which he's done it is remarkable. He wants to end the Korean War with an armistice and end the armistice by the end of the year. He's taken off the table for the first time the 28,000 troops we have as a condition for having negotiations.
Which is amazing.
He's frozen his test programs, which is easy to do. That's to be sure. But he's willing to let inspectors come in and take a look at his nuclear test site.
Do you think we're also going to get ballistic missile reduction or something else out of this? At some point, does it become untenable to keep pushing for more and more and more in this negotiation?
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of issues, Martha, and I'm just delighted you brought that up. The president has committed to Abe, the head of Japan, to bring up the Japanese abductees, which they believe they have thousands of. We also will discuss with Kim Jong-un chemical and biological weapons, which are not on the top tier, but they're there, and they're dangerous, and we suspect he has them. We're also going to discuss, as you suggest, ballistic missiles, the development of those ballistic missiles, and what are we going to do about those missiles. So we have a lot to talk about, but central, for sure, is denuclearization.
General Jack Keane, always good to see you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, good talking to you, Martha.